Hi, this is Nick from Elite Outdoor Fitness, and this video is about how we won the Paras'10 this year. I say we because we've got first Masters Female North, first Female North, first Male and Female South, and if we put a team in, we probably would have done quite well on that one as well. We were reeling off the back of 2 weeks before winning and getting a course record for that course for the 30 mile of 40 pounds Commando Shuffle. And this isn't a video, a big bollocks video, although it is to a certain extent. It's just kind of showing you that the training works. And if you kind of add a little bit of science and progressive training and allowing you to kind of pace for your events over a 3-month period, not let alone the event itself, you're going to do quite well, aren't you? So, excuse me if I refer to the board, but it just gets me in line with what I want to talk about today. Planning and accountability. You need to have a plan. So I have a 3-month plan, and I do that in rotations of 3 months over a period of like 4 quarters of each year, and I'm layering. Now I've been training all my life, so I've kind of got a good level, and so I'm kind of layering and probably at the same level and being a bit more specific in my approach to certain events that I've got to do. I obviously DS lead the Avalanche SF weight demockles, or whatever it's called, for the SF weight fan dance, the Sabre 2-3 and the tiered program that we do on that, and a number of other events, because obviously we hold a number of events of our own. Accountability. Accountability is really important, but luckily for us with Elite Outdoor Fitness, we've got the RTG groups, and they're group-led sessions online. I run the RTG event, and we specifically train for like the fan dance, all the fan dance race series and the test week marches and endurance and Paras'10 and Commando Shuffle. Some do all of them, some do just 1 or 2 of them. And so lucky enough for me, it's in 4 categories: basic, basic plus intermediate, advanced. My sessions are the advanced sessions, and they're like anywhere between 5 and 9 sessions, depending on what level we're at in training or whereabouts we are in the training. But you can train 3 times a week, 5, 7 or 9. And so luckily for me, accountability is there, not only for my team, but for me as well. So it allows me to have a bit of structure in my training, and I know what I'm doing for 3 months. And they go out on weekly spreadsheets that are updated individually, that we can all see each other's results. So that's accountability and planning. So really important to have those, because you need to know what your goal is. You need to know how much time. You need to know what you're going to be doing in this month affects next month and the month after, and what kind of speed you're going to be doing your fair runs with like 600 meters of inclines, or what kind of speed you're going to be doing 14-mile efficiency runs, or how many jump squats you need to be doing between your 400s to allow you to progress from here all the way up to there before racing. 3-month phases. I just briefly touched on that, and I do that rotation 4 times a year. First month is warming up. It's a warming up phase. It's taking myself back down. If I was finishing at this level my previous 3 months, I've had a deload taper racing and then another deload. I start from about here, so that halfway through, or a little bit towards the end, at the beginning of the deficit month of the 3 months, I'm actually capturing the efficiencies, the performance I had towards the end of my last kind of progression, if that makes sense. So the first month's warm up, the second month is capacity building. I'm building my capacity. I've started to implement the multidisciplined and multi-taxing approach to training. I've started to increase a little bit of weight in my training as well. And I've progressed through running, cross country, trail running, and I'm starting to add weight. And I've got the speed that I need. I've got the capacity that I need. And I've got the distance and the mitochondria building that I need. All I need to do now is just work on my mental ability, and just to kind of add that little bit of deficit training in there, which is done in the last month, which is a multi-taxing approach, which includes things like 1 minute, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute sessions on the running machine or out on the ground, with jump squats in between, or deadlifting or thrusters, etc. Taxing sessions. Working on my speed, working on my lactate threshold, working on my VO2 max. That's all done at the end of capacity and the beginning of deficit training. Running through water, stuff that you're going to need on the day for Paras' 10 when you're running all through those weeds and having to drive uphill and run all the way around the course of 35 pounds. I then start to tap into strength and conditioning at the beginning of my warm-up phase to allow me to suck up what's needed at like a cellular level. If you're not noticed, when you start to implement a bit of strength and conditioning, you start getting quite tired during the day, don't you? It takes from your blood. Just like if you have a meal and then you try and go out for a run, you feel like all your blood and all the goodness is taken from somewhere. It's very similar in that when you're doing strength conditioning. And so you need to be at a level where you're warming up with your CV to allow you to progress your strength and conditioning up, to catch up a little bit. And not just lob it straight into a training program, because your CV is going to come unstuck because of the strength and conditioning that you're implementing if you add it too soon or too much compared. I then move into functional training, a multidisciplinary functional training. I break my week down in my normal training during the warm-up phase, but when I get into capacity, I'm then starting to switch my strength and conditioning. So it's a little bit functional movements, a little bit crossfitty. Multi-taxing, i.e. thrusters, deadlifts, cleans, things like that. And I can implement them as a versus. Sprints against that, sprints against this, working tempo bike versus that in my capacity building phase. And that's exactly what I did for the Paras'10. And then in the deficit training, I'm starting to implement a little bit more explosive power stuff, jump squats into my 400s. So I'll be doing a 400s, having a 1 minute recovery, doing jump squats until my legs are bleeding, having a little bit more recovery, and then I'm on my 400 again, or my 600, or my 800. And also increasing that explosiveness over a longer distance of time, so that I've got speed over endurance, which is really important for something like the Paras'10. The Paras'10, you need to put the power down, and it only progresses forward. If you get that wrong, you're on a decline, and then you just go slower and slower. Most of the time on the Paras'10, I pass everybody from about mile 4. Nobody passes me. And that's normally because they've got their pacing slightly wrong, whereas I've got mine right. My entire 3-month process is the same as I run the Paras'10. It's broken down into segments. And my 3 months, although you'd say 33 and 33% to achieve the 3 months, it's actually a little bit different than that because I've got a deload and a taper before I actually race. And so it does actually work out about 30 to 40% and up to about 60% and thereafter. That's how I run Paras'10. I run Paras'10 up to 4 miles, 0 to 4, so I'm at a comfortable but achievable rate, and I've still got my goal in line and I'm focused. If I want, for example, if I wanted to do an 8-minute mile pace and average that, I might be at an 8.5 or an 8.10 at that point up to the 4 miles. But I've increased my motivation, I've got my momentum going, and I am feeling very positive and confident with my training because I'm feeling good at 4 miles. And then 4 miles, just as I do in my capacity building phase, I'm feeling confident, all the sessions feel good. My 4 miles to my 6 miles is feeling really good. I can suck up all that shite that they throw at you on Paras' 10, like running through those reeds and through the water courses and up hills and all this lot, and bad tracks where it's difficult to overtake people and things. So that when I get to the 6 mile mark, I haven't overtaxed my body. I've got my supplements correct, I've got my water correct, and I've prepared myself so that when I get to 6 miles, I am feeling confident about where I am. And at that point, I'm normally in like a 3rd, 4th or 5th position. And it just gives me the confidence, because I've been counting people as I go, to say I'm in a good position now, I don't need to push it too hard. So that if any of the youngsters do creep up behind me between 6 and let's say 9.5, 10 miles towards the end, I've got the capacity to kind of push it a little bit harder because I haven't overtaxed myself at any stage. Nutrition, water, sleep, pacing, it's all really important. And you learn that through the 3 months training. If you get the progression of the warm-up month and you go too hard on that, you won't get the capacity building phase. You won't be able to train harder for longer for the entire month, which means that you won't be able to work out the deficit phase and get those taxing sessions done. They're the sessions that really kind of hit you at a mental state. Some of them you don't really benefit from physically or performance-wise. But if you don't get that overall progression correct, which replicates itself on the progression of a 10-mile run and the pacing that's needed from 0 to 4 miles, 4 miles to 6 miles and 6 miles to 10, then you're going to come unstuck and then you're going to start to decline. It's only a progression. It should be like a progressive run session. Having your nutrition right, your water and your sleep, T-minus 2 or 3 nights before, is very important as well. Thanks for listening. I hope this gives you a little bit of an insight of how we or how I train, certainly with the RTG groups on the event for Elite Outdoor Fitness. Hope this has helped, and chat soon.